Greetings, happy Friday. Mayor Dan Pope with the weekly update. Okay, this Friday and next Friday, we're going to focus just on budget. It's the most important job the council has. We're right in the middle of that process. We're on our way to hopefully approving it at our meeting on September 10th. We'll be talking about it on the 27th at our meeting. We'll have a specially called meeting to help set the tax rate in the first week of September, and then again on September 10th. More of those details to come, but let's talk big picture around the budget. By the way, all of the facts, and I'm going to refer to my notes because I'm going to use numbers today, but the data that backs this up, as well as all the presentations that we used at our budget workshops, are available on the city website. If you'll go to the website on the landing page right there, just go to the search field and type in budget workshops. And it'll link you straight to 4 or 5 different PowerPoints that are easy to go through, and I think you would find them very informative. So big picture, the good news in Lubbock is that we've continued to experience healthy growth. That means that with that comes increased revenue, new properties coming on the property tax rolls, increased sales tax, the increased value of existing properties, more inventories, furniture, fixtures, equipment, those type things. That helps on the revenue side with us. This year's budget will include, if approved, as proposed, will include a 1 penny increase on the property tax. Now remember that in December of 2017, we voted to approve the public safety initiatives, which at that point we said would cost 3 cents on the property tax. We did a penny last year. We thought this year would be 2 cents. It's only going to be a penny, and that's because our growth has allowed it to be lower than what we expected. What does that penny mean? On the average home in our community, which is about $153,000 in value, that's $15.28 a year. Okay, so a little more than $1 a month. That will take the property tax rate to 55.8 cents per $1,000 valuation. So how does that stack up? We often look at a peer group of cities, and whether you look at the 10 cities that we most often compare ourselves to, which would include Amarillo, Corpus Christi, Arlington, Plano. If you look at that group, we're 4th lowest among 10 in property tax. If you take all the cities in Texas between 120,000 and a million, there's 20 of them, we're 7th. So we're, we're lower than Abilene, Corpus, Irving, and Waco. We're a bit higher than Amarillo and Midland. Let's take another look at the budget. Let's talk about the general fund for a minute. So remember that the general fund is everything that you don't pay a fee for. So it's not LP&L, it's not water, stormwater, sewer, the airport. It's police, it's fire, it's streets, it's parks, it's libraries, city hall, planning, those type things. That budget is about $825 million this year. That's actually 0.7% less than last year, about $5 million less than last year. If you look at that general fund spending over the last 10 years, and you compare it to population growth, so you, from a per capita kind of basis, it's increased 4.89%. So general fund spending has increased 4.89% on a per capita basis over the last decade. That's about 0.5% a year in growth, based upon our population growth over the last decade. I think that's a good investment. I think it shows that we've been able, with growth, to keep up with growth, but not be able to break the bank doing that. Another thing we sometimes look at is staffing. So how many city employees per 1,000 does it take us to deliver the services that we all expect? So 10 years ago, that was in 2011, that budget, it was 6.25 employees per 1,000 Lubbock citizens. if the proposed budget is approved as it is today for next year, that number would be 5.99 employees, so just under 6 employees per that same 1,000 citizens. So some economies of scale as we've grown. You could come up with all kinds of numbers, but I thought you might find these numbers interesting. One thing I'll finish with, when we talk about property tax, remember that your property tax bill, that your city taxes only make up 20 to 25% of your property tax bill. It differs a little bit around the city depending on which school district you're in, but it's still a much smaller percentage of your property taxes than our school taxes are. So when you start looking at your property tax bill, remember that. Okay, so today we talked about overall revenues. We talked about property tax and changes in property tax. We talked a little bit about general fund and the way it's grown over 10 years and employee growth and the investments we've made in employees. Next week, we'll go a little deeper. We'll talk specifics around where we're growing, how we're using those dollars in the 2019-2020 budget. I know you'll look forward to hearing from that. I hope you have a great weekend. Keep the good ideas coming. I look forward to talking to you next week.